order.
Hello, Pat.
4:07, no more fun then. Public comment. Anybody who wishes to comment about anything? No, going, gone. Okay, approval of the previous minutes.
I make a motion that we approve of the previous minutes of June and 12th.
Okay,
Approve.
okay, approved, good, thank you. They are approved. And we'll move on to the financial report.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Patty, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Virginia?
Good, we're good,
Good.
thank you.
Give me a second, Patty. Let me bring it up.
Sure. Oh, okay, great. Thanks, Chief.
I had all these docs.
I just realized. Order I dropped.
Okay, Patty.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks, Chief. Okay, so today we have July warrants that total $38,976.25. The total for payroll is $23,252.95. That includes Chief Carlton's salary of $6,662.92 and Chief Shield's pay of $3,567.43. And there was one event for each of the commissioners and the board secretary. The total payout for the volunteers, including the warrants, is $13,787. And I believe you all have had the June financial statements handed out for your review. And so today I'm just requesting the board's approval for the July payroll and warrants. Pending any questions.
No questions, okay. Question, may I have a motion for that, please?
Make a motion that we accept warrants as presented.
Second.
Okay. And any discussion at all? Okay. Moving right along. Go ahead,
Okay.
do you have anything else?
Just a quick update on the budget. As of the end of June, we have 56.83% left in the budget, and that is compared to 57.32 the same time last year.
It's pretty good. Okay. Any questions at all?
No questions.
Okay, good. All right. We'll move right along to correspondence. Anything there?
Budget update for the credit card. I could cover a few of those.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
US Bancorp, you'll see some things that are pretty significant. Pape Kenworth is for engine 5803. We had brakes repaired and there was an engine issue as well. That was part of that repair. So that was down in Ferndale, and that was for our third engine. Thrive Response is actually training division. It's where we send our people to Fire Academy. Sent 2 firefighters. They've just started Fire Academy. It's didactically online, and then they go to Texas for 2 weeks when they're done with their didactics. That's $5,500 and change a piece. So that totaled $11,032. Hotel.com is for my International Association of Fire Chiefs conference down in Dallas coming up in August. And then the safishing.com company, those are 4 wide brim hats for our membership for the summer.
Oh,
Basically fishing hats for summer to protect their
good.
head, neck, and stuff like that from the sun.
Have you done that before?
No, this is the first year I've decided to do that because our little hats that we wear on a regular basis, like the commissioner's wearing today, just don't protect us well enough. So they're going to be spending a lot of time out in the summer sun, and I wanted them to have a little bit better protection for
That's
that.
good. I approve of that. Okay, any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you for
No
clarifying that, Chief.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and go into your, was there any correspondence?
No correspondence to mention.
Okay. And your report?
Yeah. Chief Officer's report for July for the month of June. The Welcome Home program is up and running. We have 2 drivers, Virginia Lester and also Bill Zidell, who's on the meeting. I think we're up to 6 Welcome Home. I've done 2 over the last 3 days because I was down in Bellingham when the call was made. So I just picked people up from the hospital. We're actually going down to pick up another individual tomorrow. Bill Zidell will be doing that. So it's being utilized. So I'm happy to see that people that go down to the hospital are, if they have no other way to come home or if family doesn't have the ability to go pick them up, that they're utilizing the service. So it seems to be running well. We need to have a different process if the hospital gets a hold of us. That's a process within itself, trying to get this out to all the nurse managers on the different floors that our patients may be at, the ER to be able to make those phone calls directly. If everything else fails, people can let them know that we have a transport service like this. And then the ER can just call fire dispatch. They can tone out myself or Chief Shields, and we will put it together and get somebody down there to pick them up. So that's that. Open house is August 24th. It's from 11 to 3. And then the AFG announcements, we should start hearing about our ambulance grant and our radio grants, hopefully by the end of July to mid-August. I'm hoping to have heard something by then if we have been awarded. Rejection letters normally don't go out initially, so people are just in a waiting and a hoping pattern until they get that rejection letter. But if we don't hear something by September, then it's most likely that we haven't gotten either grant. So Grace is that we at least get 1 grant. It'd be a blessing if we got both grants, again, for ambulance and or the radio replacements that we have. Apparatus reporting engine 5803. That was the Pape Ferndale, the Kenworth site there. That was the brake repair that we had. We've added members. So the roster changed this month. We have 51 members, 36 dual or Canadian members, 12 people that live in Point Roberts. Some of those are only fireground support personnel or medical personnel, not all firefighters. There's only 2 firefighters that live within Point Roberts, and that's myself and Chief Shields. And then 3 people that come up from the county. We have 3 paramedics on staff. We upped our EMTs because we've had a couple people where 1 person gets certified. We have 2 people, 1 person that'll be certified hopefully by the end of or middle of August, and another person that will hopefully be finishing up in the last quarter of this year to come online as an EMT. Of those 10, we have 5 advanced EMTs. Our advanced EMTs are going to gain permission to give cardiac epi or cardiac arrests. That's allowed by the state. It has to be approved by the medical program director, Dr. Wayne. I spoke to our physician advisor, Dr. McBain, for District 5. We had a meeting to discuss that. We also had a meeting with Sarah Biant, who is the nurse over here at the clinic, to provide her the permission to function at the advanced EMT level. Believe it or not, registered nurses are different. They're not part of pre-hospital care or certification criteria. So a registered nurse just can't start becoming an EMT. They just can't practice as an EMT or an advanced EMT or a paramedic. They have to go through approvals to, even though they're licensed, they're higher medically trained. That's for a hospital-based system. Or Airlift Northwest, which is like a hospital-based system, I guess it is out of UW to do flights. But they can't just automatically function as a paramedic. It's a completely different world, completely different approach than a nurse has in a regular setting. So my hope is that Dr. Wayne, through Dr. McBain, will be approving Sarah to function at the advanced EMT level at this point, which would allow her to start IVs, give cardiac meds, and do different stuff, as well as bring in her benefits as a registered nurse to our community here in Point Roberts. So the one RN is Sarah Beyond. We have one ambassador, and of the 51 members, we have 38 firefighters that are credentialed. Volunteer hours for the month of June, 2,311. If everybody was being paid, payroll would have been 16,368. I worked 197 hours, Chief Shields 112 hours, for a total of 309 hours for the month of June. We had hosted an NFA class here at the last part of June, the 29th and 30th. It was a health and safety manager, program manager course. It was well received by all participants. I think we had 5 or 6 people from outside of this agency, and a couple of people from the lower mainland as well. So it was a good class, good instructor. Brian Pearson comes out. He's a retired fire chief, and he teaches for the National Fire Academy as adjunctive faculty and does regional classes with that. We have another class. I guess I'll go back to points of information. We have another class coming up July 20th. It is a National Fire Sprinkler Association class that we're hosting, and we're hosting that down in Bellingham as we did the May Day class. But Shane Ray from the National Fire Sprinkler Association is coming in to talk about big box, so commercial structures, their sprinkler systems, and firefighter safety, governing those types of responses. The total calls for the month of June, we had a busy month. We had 50 calls, EMS calls, we had 13. We transported 7 people to St. Joseph's Hospital. Airlift Northwest took 2 people. We had 2 transports, and we gave 2 people to North Whatcom Fire Rescue. Community paramedic visits, we had 17. We had 1 agency assist, and we had 6 public service. Fire classification, 13 calls. We had 7 permitted burns, 2 illegal burns, 1 smoke investigation, 1 false alarm, a power line issue, and 1 animal rescue, which was a dog that went over the cliff at Seabright. We mobilized. Chief Shields had his rope rescue equipment in case we needed to rappel off the south side cliff there. But by the time we got down there, the dog had come down through the blackberry bushes and self-rescued on the beach. And the owners were very, very happy. But when we got there, the dog was screaming in pain, and it was hard to listen to. But we had a drone that was going to be launched to see if we could get from above as well. So the response was good. Everybody turned out, and we didn't have to rescue it. We had self-rescued by the time we got there. So that completes my chief's report for July for the month of June 2024. I'll take any questions.
Any questions?
Do you know anything about the proposed trailer park camping thing?
Sure. So I had met, before that came public, Lauren took me over to the site, had me walk through the site with him. This is really going to be driven by codes down in the county and by the fire marshal's office. I don't know how many sites. There's information out on different venues that say that there's going to be 160 some sites on that property.
The site can accommodate 164 sites. He wants to begin with 60.
Yeah, so he didn't mention that many to me. Obviously, taking down trees, that will have to be allowed by the county, and all of those sites will have to be approved. My biggest issue would be public safety within that development, and our ability to get in and get out quickly and not have any type of impairment to be able to respond appropriately within that area. Again, all of that is governed by county code, how big the roads have to be, the turnarounds and everything else like that. And because I'm a stickler on public safety, I don't see myself changing any dynamics that the county would recommend to do our job safely
That's a lot
And
to
it
be in
provides
that
services.
small area.
and provide services. I understand there's concern, with any developments of land here. But realistically, my authority to negate any type of developments is very limited of any type of whatever they want to do with the land. Now, if they wanted to start building commercial structures and everything else like that, that would rely on fire flow, fire protection systems. But at this point, it seems to be more of a glamping site,
More of a what?
upscale camping, glamping. It's called glamping. That's what my wife at least calls it, is glamping. Camping
Yeah, right.
experience. People are concerned about the additional traffic at the border, all those types of things, which are valid. I mean, those are all valid concerns. I hope to have a round of coffee with Lauren to talk to him. I'll be reaching out to the fire marshal as well. But again, the is the most is our ability to respond effectively and efficiently to any part of that development site and to be part of the approval process. And if I need to make changes because I don't feel that a turnaround or a road access is that isn't allowing us to get into the site effectively, then I'll be voicing my opinion on that. But otherwise, it's just in the beginning stages. There's a very limited amount of public comment time. I heard that on the social media too, that some people felt that it needed to be extended. But again, I don't control that. So my biggest thing is public safety. And is there more risk? Because we're going to have a lot of campfires in that area for wildfire. That's subjective. There's risk to any type of campfire for wildfire purposes. Is there potential? Yeah, there's definitely potential with that many more sites being condensed in one area.
When there's a burn ban, they won't be able to have campfires.
No, so they'd be, if everything's then they'd be prohibited as well. Privately owned land doesn't negate them having to follow burn ban regulations. So if a burn ban goes into effect that takes out recreational fires, then there would be no recreational fires allowed in that campground. If people have propane, even propane fires would be taken out in a stage 2 or 3 burn ban, on stage 1, stage 3. That'll come out from the fire marshals, but usually propane fire pits are very safe. They will turn off if they tip over, those types of things. They don't send embers as well into dry brush, topography, those types of things. So there's less of a risk. So there's a potential that propane fires would still be allowed, depending on the stage of burn ban. We've had to drive up to some propane fires in the past because they look really real, and making sure that they're propane and not burning wood. So the biggest risk and why recreational fires are taken out when it gets really, really dry is because of the embers that it puts off. So, and those float away. People think the redness goes out, they see the little red spark go out and they think it's cool, but it's just hot enough when it hits the grass to go ahead and start the grass on fire still. And right now, recreational fires are still allowed. If we don't get rain in the next couple of weeks of any significance, I see recreational fires being taken out by August. Yeah, and just so everybody knows, July 1st will probably be the start of burn bans on an annual basis.
And you know anything about the waste treatment?
The waste treatments?
Waste treatment is next to groundwater.
I don't have any information on that, sir. I'm sorry, I don't. I guess we could talk offline and I can gain some information for the next meeting if possible.
Yeah. Any questions from the audience? No,
No,
it's interesting.
Yeah, and you know, we're still getting people to come by and get burn permits, and I want people to enjoy. You know, we had 2 fireworks shows, Golf and Keller, and we had one down on South Beach this year, and both were nice shows.
Yeah.
But we had crews at both sites. So we had a crew and a truck at Teller and Golf, and we had our brush truck and a crew down on the beach on South Beach. There, you know, ask if beach fires, and if it's a privately owned beach that extends with those rights, then they can. Our difficulty is understanding what's privately owned and what's
What isn't down there?
not privately owned beach. And some people have said in the past, oh, we own the beach, and they really don't. And we have to take those positions and correct. But we don't have, you know, a county document showing us what is county and what is private beach. So we go off the honesty, the ethics, you know, the character of the person that lives on the beach that they say is theirs. And we hope that they're telling us the truth. And if we find out different, then we'll cite that person and send it to the state.
If they're going to have primarily upscale camping in this area, then most of those outfits have, you know, an enclosed kind of barbecue thing that's used, right?
Yeah, or they'll have some type of screen arrestor
Right.
on top of the fire.
Just
Which
because
would be,
that's the kind of unit that they have.
yeah, I mean, barbecue, the cooking appliances, that's really rare that those are taken out during a burn ban. If you use charcoal, now you can be responsible, and you have to make sure that you discard the charcoal, and it has to be cool, and it has to be in a non-flammable ground area that you dispose it on. But to take away the ability for someone to be able to cook in a barbecue, that's rare, especially if it's their own way to prepare meals. And we've seen that at houses and in trailers here in Port Roberts. And that's really rare that we would take away their ability to cook their food.
Yeah.
If that's truly the only way they have.
If they're being really careful.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you're talking about recreational fires, it's only firewood or charcoal that can be burned. So you can't put your freshly cut down tree with all the branches on it and all the leaves on it in the recreational fire pit and call that appropriate. The wood has to be all sheared off. It has to be trimmed. It has to be seasoned is the wording that is used, and make up your definition on that. I don't care if people cut off the limbs and they take all the leaves off and stuff like that, burn that as a residential, or take that to the dump, and then have the logs and stuff in the fire pit, and they cut down the tree 2 days ago. I'm fine with that, as long as they're not burning, you know, the leaves and everything else in a recreational fire pit.
Any other comments? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, moving right along. Unfinished business? Have any unfinished business? Nothing that I can
Can
think
you
of.
think of anything? Any unfinished business? Okay, so a level 2 would take out campfires, but not propane. Yeah, so level 2 would take out everything but propane fire pits, and then level 3 takes out everything for fire ban purposes. So right now we're in a level 1.
Oh, Things are
Um,
still down from the rain, but it's.
Yeah, and I advise people that if they see burning and they question it, you know, they give us a call. I've already sent one individual to the state this year, and they're handling that. We'll see where that goes, but the state has all the records and they're following up with that. And they'll be doing an appropriate mailer to the individual to contact them to remedy the issue. So, yeah. So yeah, please call 911, let us come out, let us take a look at it, see if it's appropriate, see if they're permitted. It's a good idea for neighbors to go on neighbors, neighbor trying to handle a neighbor issue, and just let us come out and we'll solve the issue. And if they're burning legally though, and it's not causing a problem, not causing a hazard, then they're likely to be allowed to continue burning.
All right, no other unfinished business, so new business?
I'll just mention the air conditioner that handles this room in here, they had to do open heart surgery on it.
Oh dear.
Outside unit, best way to put it, they did a cabbage, and I think it was they had to bypass the condenser, I believe it's called, because of the age of the units, and the condenser wasn't there. There was a leak in the condenser. So we may be looking to go to mini splits in this room as well, just like we put in upstairs in the medical clinic for future purposes. But right now it's nice and cool in here. I hope that this can get us through the summer, that it'll stay this way. I will be opening up this room for a cooling place for the community, as I've done in years past, and publicize that out. People can have use of the kitchen, the Wi-Fi, obviously the air conditioning too. Animals are welcome, but people need to take note that if we start having animal issues with dogs, and if somebody brings their cat, a dog issue and stuff like that, then we may have to no longer allow pets to come inside the building. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen. It hasn't happened in the past, but it's just putting that out there. I'm pet friendly, but as long as your pets are friendly and they get along. So, and this includes horses. This doesn't include. This includes dogs and cats, and I think birds do fine in shade, but this would be for dogs and cats, and no large farm animals coming through the fire station door.
No pigs.
No what? Pigs, oh, no, I don't think so.
Potbelly pig, maybe. But a large sow, I would probably say no to that. But
My dogs wouldn't come in, it's bigger than the sow.
yeah. I guess this would be back on old business, but the parking lot, we discussed that, getting our pavement repaired at the entrances and everything else. That is set up for August 12th, I believe. And because of the cost of that, we did not have to go out to bid. So we're using a local contractor for that.
Is there something with hot weather that you can't do?
No, like when you do the recycled asphalt for driveways and stuff, you need hot weather.
Okay.
But no, there's no temperature for asphalt because it's laid at a very high temperature to begin with.
Yeah.
So the issue is letting it set up for a couple of days before you start turning on it. So because you can actually peel it sometimes if you get on it too soon afterwards. So usually it's, I don't know how long do they. Yeah, as the apron. The end of the apron is going to be testy with the fire trucks, and hopefully it's nice weather that we can leave them outside, but we'll have to let our drivers know that they need to start turning once they hit the street, and not before, and take it a little bit slower, and make sure that they're moving when they're turning their wheel. The biggest issue is if you're stopped and you decide to turn your wheel and it just peels, right? If you're moving and you turn your wheels, then there shouldn't be any damage.
So how long does it take till it's really cured?
I'll have to ask the contractor on that. I'll have to ask them. But we got a estimate of around 11 or 12,000, if I remember correctly, to get those areas done, and they'll be done before the open house, which would be nice.
So you're not doing the interior walls out?
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing the entire parking lot.
Yeah.
That will be still some savings, and that'll be probably a $400,000 project, and that will have to go out to bid. once we get there. But right now, our concentrations are on new radios and new ambulance. Patching, extending it for a few more years, hopefully. But if the dents and the holes and the alligating gets worse, then we'll have to step up that project. And again, I mentioned this, trying to look at putting up a building next to the clinic. We're probably working with the King architect out at Fairhaven. Ebby is too busy. They didn't take our project. So I'll be working with the King architect out of Fairhaven to give us a price estimate on the drawings and how much it's going to be. County expects it's going to be about 15 grand worth of permits that are going to be necessary. And then going out, if necessary, for a bid on the Olympia is the only building company that has been able to respond to us that puts up steel buildings. They send it in a kit, and then we would have to hire somebody to erect the building and to pour the concrete and everything else. It's just going to be a building that'll have electricity, it'll have heat, obviously for the winter, but it won't have water and it won't have a bathroom, office, or anything like that, to try to keep the cost down, at least as of now, unless we decide to change the design. But that all incorporates bigger issues. And then having to potentially partner with the water district to utilize their runoff stormwater drainage that they put in for their building over here, to see if we might be able to tap into that if that's required, because of the roof structure, the square footage of our roof structure. They calculate that out to see if we're going to need to be part of that. And that'll be later. That's down the line. But I'm hoping that we can get that project, all the drawings, everything approved, so it can be erected next year, next summer. If I get a new ambulance, it'll be interesting to see if we can even get it in a year or 6 months. And if we get it during the winter, we're going to have to find a place for it. The new ambulance will go here, obviously, but our backup ambulance would have to go somewhere else.
Now you're planning on an ambulance, getting a new ambulance, whether we get the grant or not, is that correct?
That's our primary focus.
Okay.
At this
And
point.
if we get one grant and not the other, is there a major choice that you have there?
Well, if we get one, then we're able to still make the second purchase. So we'd still be able to make two purchases out of the capital reserves that we currently have.
Okay.
It would be really nice to save $600,000 and get both grants.
Yeah.
But both grants are in the range of 250 to 300,000. So if we get one, then it frees up that money for the other one.
That'd be good.
So we could potentially still complete both projects by the end of the year. So.
Okay. Any other questions? How about he's no.
Patrick.
Okay.
APB.
Oh, is he on here?
APB. He's actually utilizing another AI. It's an Otter AI. He's actually recording the meetings utilizing this Otter AI product. So, Bill, do you have anything to say?
I'm actually here.
Oh, hi, Pat.
Yeah, I'm an AI robot.
To hear how it works. And by the way, I understand that you got your driveway done recently, and I want to do the same thing by the same person. So I'm going to come down and probably say hi to you.
Yeah, no, it looks good.
So thanks for being here.
Okay.
Okay.
Patty, do you have anything to add?
I do not at this time, Chief. Thank you.
Linda, do you have anything to add?
I do not, thank you.
Chief Shields? No?
Okay. You want to move to adjourn? Okay. At 4:41.